Aaron, you're a weekend now. You starting to get a little bit more of a feel for having things in and a little bit more like with the foundation under you a little bit now.
Yeah, I mean, guys are kind of getting accustomed to each other's style of play. The organization's kind of style of play, and um, we've put in some sets, and guys are getting comfortable with it. So um, it's been a really good week for us. I think we made a lot of quick progress in terms of just understanding the way we want to play, and how we want to be together and on the same page when it comes to both ends of the court. So getting our feet under us and figuring things out.
Not sure if it feels this way to you all, but it seems like there's been a lot of just playing. Not necessarily just drills and whatnot. How valuable is that at this time of year, given the few number of practices you'll actually get during the year?
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, especially early on, this training camp, there's obviously a lot that, I'm sure our coaches want to teach, and there's a lot that, we all have to learn. But being able to play and mix in, teaching and like being maybe stopping here and there to like teach specific points, that's been huge. Guys getting their second wind, kind of finding their breath, getting their feet under them. Just getting up and down, that's what we love to do. So for us, this is an ideal practice, being able to play and also like you're continuing to learn, obviously. But I mean, it's been good for us.
I think Alex was saying the other day that you guys were on the same team and you guys were kind of picking up the ball and taking turns doing that. Just what have you picked up from him early on in camp?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to pick up as the player I am and like the way that I move. Much different from the way Alex Caruso moves. But I mean, he's just very smart guy. Knows the game really well. Big communication guy on both ends of the court. You can see his experience in the way that he plays. But I've just kind of been able to watch him, hear from him. He's always like coaching up guys on the court, and I mean he has a very good feel for different looks that he has learned and knows how to put out on the court. So both ends of the court, he makes good reads on the offensive end, and he's able to see defenses really well. And then when he's on defense, he knows how to disguise different looks and maybe set up different things. So very smart player on both ends of the court.
Yeah, I don't think you were on his team, but I know Alex and Lou were on the same team at some point. Just from afar, what are you seeing as far as the way they're playing off each other?
Yeah, I mean those guys are talk about like point of attack defenders. Those guys are like the elite of the elite. Cason Wallace I would throw in there too. I mean those guys can just really, you match them up on anybody with the ball in their hands and almost count on them to get any stop. So just being able to watch those guys and see how they kind of maneuver, get around screens, guard the ball one-on-one, their change of direction and agility on the way they guard the ball is one of a kind. So I admire their abilities, and I try to mimic some of their movements and stuff, but I'm not them, but I try to be.
What's been your initial impressions of the rookies, AJ and Dylan, so far?
Yeah, they've done a good job kind of coming in with the competitive mindset, but still willing to learn. Dylan's a guy who early on, even in September, he's asking questions, about certain looks. We obviously didn't have like sets in or anything, but, he's asking questions just about timing of like when you want to space the floor or cuts and the fast pace of the game and everything, and AJ's kind of done a really good job just kind of coming in with a confident sense of still playing like himself, but at the same time understanding that he's got a ton to learn, and they're like not in the aspect of like they don't know what they're doing, but like a deer in headlights where their eyes are wide open. Like it's a lot being thrown at them, and they're doing a really good job just kind of, trying to learn and taking it day by day.
You have the rookies, and you also have the new additions of Isaiah and Alex, but there are a lot of returning faces, a lot of new faces. How much is that continuity showing up so far in training camp?
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, all of the new guys, the rookies, Hart, Caruso, those guys have kind of fit in right away. Both in the locker room, on the court, off the court. We all have, I just want to say like a similar sense of just the type of people we are. Great people. You talk about people with like big personalities, different characteristics. All of those things kind of mesh well. So it all leads to better success on the court. Talking to each other, wanting the best out of each other and pushing each other to be the best. So those guys have adapted really well.
Aaron, it'd be pretty hard to be more efficient offensively than you were last season. With kind of the big picture thing in mind of like you're not entitled, you guys aren't entitled to anything. What's your approach to this year and understanding that maybe there's more volume coming your way, or maybe things might look a little different for you offensively, and trying to kind of get back to 0-0 even individually from season to season?
Yeah, I mean, my approach is still like, the mindset I've always had, which is like, when I get the opportunity, aggressive to play. I want to play and I want to be in the game. So at the same time, though, I want to play winning basketball. I want to be a part of a winning culture. And, I still have the mindset that, I'm going to do whatever it takes for our team to win. But obviously, I kind of see the percentages and you look at all those things and the efficiency, and it makes sense that, you can find more shots and get those opportunities. So still have that mindset of, trying to find those and still play within the offense, but at the same time, aggressive mindset. I have an aggressive mindset, and I'm just looking to, help the team win in that aspect, though.
Dub the other day mentioned that early on in training camp that everybody wants to show off what they worked on over the summer. Has anything stood out to you about like maybe new things guys have added?
I mean, I'd say a lot of guys just look a lot sharper in terms of, we obviously had a really, really young team last year, and guys, showed some flashes of what they're capable of doing. I'd say this year a lot of guys have like kind of just sharpened some of those things, and you can see the work that guys put in, the growth, and just the mental perspective that they kind of have on different parts of their game. And I mean, it's a number of guys who have shown like that. I'd say Chet is one guy specifically who, as soon as I came back to OKC from the summer, I'm like, he looks good. Like, you can tell that he's really sharpened a lot of parts of his game. And, I mean, there are a number of guys who look really good. So,
is there a particular area of your game that you were looking to sharpen and show off in?
A little bit of everything. Mix it up. Basketball, that's what I want to get better at. So, yeah, a little bit of everything. That's what they said.
Yeah. Lou mentioned you guys added Caruso to the group chat. Are you excited to have another extrovert in the group chat? Seems like you got two quieter guys with Cason and Lou.
Yeah. I mean, Lou and Cason are quiet from you guys' perspective. Those guys are, characters in their own way. But in terms of the group chat, I mean, if you look at that group chat, that's a hell of a God. Like, I don't want to go against those guys. So that's a fun group chat to be a part of, to learn from, and to also kind of attack every game with a lot of film and discussions of how to guard certain guys. So looking forward to everybody's personalities and characteristics in that. That's a fun chat to be a part of.
What's the requirement to be on the group chat?
It's I'm not gonna say it's a requirement. I've actually seen some people kind of complaining about like Dub and Chet not being in it. Those guys are like another breed of like, they could be in the group chat obviously, but I don't know. The requirements isn't a listed thing, and I'm not gonna sit here and try to ramble about a list. But I don't know. I think we got a good chat. Leave it at that.
Mark was just saying the other day with efficiency maybe comes more volume. He was mentioning you in that, so what you shooting more threes. He was also mentioning Dub. I just wonder from where you sit, what do you think Dub's next step is, and what would him shooting more threes do for this team?
I mean, he had a great year last year from three, so he's got the ball in his hands, and I think it'll just open up the court a little bit more for him if he's able to find more threes, whether that's off the dribble, spacing off the ball. That just opens up the court for him to kind of have his drives and his pull-ups and get to more stuff, I think. So I know he'll be able to find that pretty easily. But, I mean, he's a hell of a player, so I'm sure he'll find whatever he wants at some point.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks,
Wig.
Thinking back to this time last year and sort of the position that you were in to now, is there anything you can point to as just how you feel differently, what feels differently about this whole process of training camp to you?
Yes, it's pretty different. That's love right there. It's pretty different this year, I'm not gonna lie. A lot less nervous and jittery. Last year it was more like trying to learn a lot and just do the right things at the right time. But this year I'm more free. I figured my way through last year a little bit, so a lot more confident this year.
You were the new guy that kind of the team was incorporating last year. Now you're in a position of helping Caruso, Hartenstein, like some of these guys, rookies too, come in. What's that like for you to be a presence that's already been here?
Just whenever they come to me or if I see them, hey, take the burn or something, topside tag, red instead of what they used to call or something like that. So it's just a team effort, just communicating with each other.
Before the summer, Sam was kind of talking about, him wanting to see you more involved as a playmaker. Just have you felt that urge, that effort from the staff to kind of get you involved in that way since camp started?
I have been on the ball a little bit more, but still, playing my role as last year as far as being a playmaker and a player, knocking down open shots, guarding 94 feet. So, I have had more opportunities.
I know Alex is new. Obviously, he's a vet in the league. I just wonder how you two are maybe picking up things off of each other, you having been here and him having been around the league.
He's helping me offensively a lot. A matter of like how to attack switches or back cuts, when to back cut, or I'll tell him like, yo, maybe gamble on that one. Late shot clock, you might want to do this or that. But we talk pretty often.
Speaking of Alex, we know he was added to the Mo Wings group chat. Just what's it like now having him part of that dynamic with you guys?
It's cool. We still got a lot to teach him, We got a lot to teach him.
How is it for you just being on the court with him, kind of sharing a defensive backcourt with that guy?
It's cool because he's good at flying around as well, so he fits right in with us.
How comfortable are you on the ball right now?
I'm pretty comfortable, It just comes with more reps, the more comfortable I get.
A new dynamic there for not just you on the ball, but Shea, J-Dub, lots of guys is having a screener like Hartenstein. What dynamic does that present to the group on offense?
That's huge. Not gonna lie, he's a crazy screener. Screen, roll, he got a great touch in the paint. He can knock down open threes. But yeah, he does pretty much everything.
Do people underestimate the advantage that a screen setter like him can provide to you all in terms of, getting that extra step or being able to get into the lane?
Most definitely. It will be hard to blow up a screen with us now. But yeah, like I said, he's a great screener and he got great touch. So if they switch, we hit him in the pocket, he can still make a play.
Is he shooting threes often?
Yeah, if it's open. I mean, he's a ball player, so he make the right play. So taking open shots is part of that.
Caruso mentioned the other day that just over the summer he watched a lot of film of you, and he said that it stood out that it looked like you were playing mainly just instinctual. Would you agree with that? And then how have you sort of grown over the summer, just, I guess, adapting more to the league?
I do play off instincts a lot. That's something that I've been telling him as well. But off season, it was more like I see it. Now I have to be able to do it physically, and I feel like gaining a few pounds helped me out a little bit.
Impression of your teammate. Anybody notice that they improve a lot?
Has anybody noticed my growth?
Did you notice anybody improve a lot?
Oh, yeah, everybody. And it's hard. Literally everybody. Wiggs, Lou. I'm gonna name the whole team if I can. Yeah.
4 days in, trip coming up on Sunday. What's your feeling right now of this? Something that this team is doing at a really high level right now that you're really happy about.
Competing, paying attention. I think this time of year, you got to eat the elephant one bite at a time, and just get better in every rep, drill, day. And I think we've done a good job of that this week. We've had. This was our 6th practice of the week. And a lot of information and a lot of stuff, and they've done a nice job of digesting that and applying it. Now we just got to start the process of improving.
I want to ask you about the concept of like players who make their teammates better. A lot of times that's viewed as a star player who's finding a teammate, but as a screener, Isaiah, I mean, how can he make some of his teammates better with the screens that he sets?
Hartenstein?
Yeah.
I mean, frees guys up. He gets guys off of the body. So if you try to really play a player tight, he's going to go up and clean that up. And the threat of him doing that, matters to the defense. And then if you try to switch him, he's one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. So he deters switching, which gives us a nice look. Obviously, Chet gets switched a lot. A lot of our guards get switched, and so it's going to force teams to make decisions, with their coverages. So that's the best way I could put that.
Mark, now that you're your working sets into practice. I just wonder, like, what does the process look like, the beginning of the process at least, for getting a guy like Cason more involved as a playmaker, maybe even Chet.
I mean, a lot of it is just playing the system and seeing what emerges and assessing where everybody's at. I think if you go into this, you can make a mistake of going into the season trying to push too many buttons, and what ends up happening is you're guessing, first of all, and then you're overlooking the foundation of the system. And usually when guys have improved or guys are really good at creating, it'll emerge from the system stuff. Like you can't hold those guys back. It'll show up. And so we try to take a pretty patient approach with that. We're not like overly intentional on that. The guys that can really create, they can do it under any circumstance. And so we let that take place, worry about our habits, worry about our identity. And then, there'll come a time where we'll start to layer, but that time's not now yet.
I don't know what squads you guys have today, if you're running specific squads, but I just wonder, again, now that you're working the sets, what have you seen for the dynamic between Isaiah Hartenstein and Isaiah Joe, just the way they play off each other?
Yeah, I mean, this week we've just done all even teams. That's just philosophically, I like doing that in the first week and move a lot of things around. It lets you take a look at a lot of different things. They've played together a couple times now. I think Isaiah Hartenstein has a good history and feel for playing with guys like Joe. DiVincenzo was the most recent, where high shooting gravity, good mover. He really understands how to play with those guys, and so I actually think it's a little bit of an adjustment for Joe. This is the first time he's played with a big that's kind of like that. Jay Will's different style, and so it's been cool. We'll see how it evolves, but they've done a nice job together.
What have been your initial impressions of AJ so far, just in the time you've seen him on the floor?
He's a really mature player. He is very intelligent. He's very aware on the court. He knows what's going on, not just with him, but with the team. Dynamic offensive player. He can score on 3 levels. He can play the pick and roll game. He makes every pass. And then defensively, he's competitive, and where he's supposed to be. He's been very impressive.
I know a lot's being thrown at him and Dylan, obviously, in the first week of training camp. How have you seen them kind of, handle and navigate all of that?
Pretty good. I think that's where when you zoom out and you look at, we draft them and then they have summer league and then they have a period of time after summer league. That's like a data point. You can kind of learn the starting point. They've got a period of time after that, where they can go address some things in their game. We can address some things to get out ahead of things. Then they were here early in September, so they get that whole build up. So it's the first week of training camp, but it's not their first week, and so that's what allows guys to really be able to hit the ground running. And a lot of the stuff that we try to design prior to training camp is to catch guys like that up, so that we're not, we want to teach to the fastest learner. We try not to, slow things down. We force people to catch up to it, and we try to do everything we can to help them do that.